I feel like junk journaling has exploded in popularity in the past year, and for good reason, because it is such a fun way to collect memories. It's cost effective, it's so much fun to do, and it gives you basically a scrapbook to look back on your life. It's amazing. So if you've been trying to get into junk journaling, but you're unsure what to buy, how to do it, what notebook is right for you, I'm going to go through every single thing today, and then we're also going to build a junk journal spread together. So let's jump in. So firstly, what materials do you need? To strip junk journaling back to its most basic form, all you need is a notebook, some junk, and then some adhesive. The word junk is where a lot of people get stuck, and today I want to try and help you decipher between what is junk and what is junk journaling junk. Junk can be literally anything, and I'm actually going to show you materials that I have collected over the last few months to show you what I mean. Here are just a few things that I've collected. One of them is a City of Ottawa cycling map. I also have this business card from a local Ottawa business. I have some cutouts of paint samples from Lowe's. I have 2 wrappers that some incense came in. I recently ordered takeout and I kept the receipt. I have the tag off of some overalls that I got. It was recently my birthday, so I have some cards collected. I have a little fortune from some Chinese that I ate recently. I have some cards that came in packages that I ordered. My best friend got me flowers for my birthday, and I actually pressed some of those flowers in this book, so I'm going to use some of those today as well. Every piece of junk that I just showed you was free. There's also so many other things you can collect. You can collect stickers off your fruit and vegetables. You can collect little game sheets. If you play like euchre with your friends, you can have a little score sheet. Junk is literally everywhere, and I think for me, what helps me decipher between what is junk and what is not is simply aesthetic. If I look at something and I'm like, that's pretty, then I just keep it for junk. Now I'm going to talk about the adhesive, because everyone can kind of choose to use something different that works for them. For me, I just like a glue stick. This is the glue stick I go with. I think it's like $2 from the dollar store or something, and it's just a really big glue stick. I go for this, but you can use whatever you want. You could use a smaller glue stick, you could use Mod Podge. A lot of people use like the sticky tape. It's kind of expensive though, so I don't choose to go for that. And also there's a lot of like single-use plastic in that, but there is in here too, so you can't really win. It's really just whatever works for you and whatever adhesive that you find the easiest to work with. There's no right or wrong at all. And for the notebook, so I personally use the Moleskine A5 notebook. This is my junk journal here, and I have actually added some collage on the outside and Mod Podged over it. So the paper under this was just this brown color, but I went over it. But this is the size of the A5 journal. I think it's a good size for me personally. It's not too large, and it's still easily like transportable. It fits in my bag super easily. Honestly, whatever notebook works for you works. I don't think there's a right or wrong really. I would say I probably wouldn't recommend doing anything with spirals, because if you flip the pages, I'd be scared that like the pages would rip out, especially if they're kind of heavy, if you put a lot of things on them. But outside of like not going for a spiral notebook, any notebook will work. The notebook that is best though, honestly, in my opinion, is whatever notebook you have on hand. So just use your best judgment, see if it'll work for you. And then when you use a notebook you already have, you can kind of decide if that works for you. If it doesn't, everyone's gonna have a completely different preference here. So it's just whatever works for you and whatever makes you happy and brings you joy to you. So no right or wrong here at all. It truly is just figuring out what you enjoy and what fits in your bag and what fits in your lifestyle. Okay, so we've tackled the 3 basic materials, which again is a notebook, an adhesive, and then some junk. But now I want to talk about some extra materials that you can buy to start adding to your toolkit. Maybe once you've used those really basic materials, you're kind of like wanting to add a little bit more to your journal. Whatever the reason may be, I'm just going to talk to you about kind of things that I have loved adding to my junk journaling and I feel make a really big impact and have been worth my money. For me personally, the number one thing I would additionally add to the 3 most basic items is scrapbook paper. Every single spread that I do in my junk journal always begins with me putting down some form of patterned paper. You can see here I have this gingham in the background. Here I have this pink color. I got this pink paper here, a little checkered moment. You can see what I mean. There's always a little piece of patterned paper on the back. And in my opinion, that makes the spreads look so much better. So if I was only able to get the 3 most basic materials and 1 extra thing, the thing that I would say is worth the money is scrapbook paper. What I do to get scrapbook paper is I actually go onto Canva or Pinterest. I find patterns that I like, and then I just print them at Staples. If your library prints color color, I'd recommend going there, but my library doesn't print color. And then I'm just left with these little patterns, like little mini scrapbook papers. And because of the notebook size that I chose, these are the perfect size to fit into here. I also sometimes will grab scrapbook paper kits at dollar stores if I see them, but I often find with the scrapbook paper kits, there'll be like 10 of the exact same pattern, which I don't love. And then also I'll find that I don't like some of the patterns, I'll only like half of it, and then some of them will go to waste. So I try to just print them out like that, but if you can find a really good deal on one at a dollar store, I'd recommend just buying a pack of scrapbook paper. I just haven't found a brand or a collection of pages that I love, so I'm doing that for now. Another material that I think adds a lot to your junk journaling kit is stickers. Whenever I travel, I always try to buy some stickers at the place that we're going. For example, I went whitewater rafting recently, and I picked up this sticker that says Owl Rafting, which is the place where we went whitewater rafting. But there's also just sticker packs. I usually go to Dollarama, which is the main dollar store in Canada, but any dollar store, any little store like that would do probably. I love the puffy stickers. I don't know, I just have some fun animals here, some more fun animals. I love this little puffy collection of hearts. These little doodles are so fun. And then I also got this birthday pack because I knew I'd be junk journaling on my birthday and I wanted to have some fun stickers to add to it. I've also found a lot of good stickers at local markets. A lot of time artists will take their work and turn them into stickers. Whenever I'm at like a flea market or anything like that, I'm always looking for stickers there. These are my current faves though, and I'm really enjoying using them. But yeah, I think these also add a lot to junk journal spread, but just to be so clear, they aren't necessary. They're an additional item. And if I had to choose between picking up scrapbooking paper or stickers, I would definitely choose scrapbook paper. But on top of the scrapbook paper, I think they're so fun to add on. And I think they do add a lot to your spread for not too much additional money, which is lovely. Another additional material that you might want to be adding to your scrapbooking kit is printed photos. Every few months I'll print out a bunch of photos at a Walmart or a Staples, and I'll just get a bunch of the little foot size 4x6, I think, little photos printed, and I love to have these. And I also sometimes print little Polaroid prints on my Fujifilm. I have a Fujifilm Evo. I'll show it to you. This is the Instax Mini Evo. I've actually sent this by Fujifilm. This is not sponsored at all, and they do not know that I'm talking about this, but I do use this. I don't use it as much to take photos, although you totally can use it for that, but I really use it as a printer to send photos from my phone to the Fuji, and then it'll print the Polaroid picture. I love using it for that, and I think it adds a lot to my junk journal spreads when I do have a little printed photo in there. But a much cheaper option than purchasing the Polaroid paper and everything is just getting your photos printed at a Walmart or something like that. I think it runs around 10 cents a photo, and I think that it's so nice to just have some printed photos in there. You can like cut out around them, and there's a lot of options there. But definitely, if you are someone who likes to take photos, getting those printed off and putting them in a junk journal, it's such an easy and fun, and especially if you're printing them at a Walmart or a Staples, it's a really cheap way to add a lot to your junk journal spreads. And last but not least, another item you can add to your junk journaling kit would be some washi tape. This is just like decorative tape that you can add. I got this entire pack at the dollar store for $4, I believe. I think it can add a lot to a junk journal spread, so I would recommend it if you are interested in it. But again, it is absolutely not necessary to junk journal, and all of these things are just added little benefits. And if you have a junk journal, an adhesive, and some junk, then you have just enough to junk journal. So let's go do that now and make a spread together with only the most basic items. We officially have the little double angle going. How do we like this? Very fancy for this channel. So I'm gonna start making my spread. And again, I'm gonna start it with doing only with the bare necessities that I mentioned earlier. And then we're gonna add on the fun things after so that you guys can kind of get an idea for, oh, like that thing is worth the money to me, or maybe that thing isn't worth the money to me. No judgment at all in what you choose to buy or not buy. Do whatever is best for you and your wallet and your art, basically. So I'm gonna start with an adhesive, as we mentioned, and I'm gonna go in with a glue stick. A fun tip that I learned recently that I find makes a really big difference, especially if you're using the same notebook that I'm using. I always start every single junk journal spread with gluing 2 pages together. It just makes your pages a little bit more thick and ready to add to. So I'm just gonna start with that. I just do glue all over here, do it all over on this side, and then we will fold it over together. I think this just makes it a little bit easier to work with. There we go. And since I listed scrapbook paper as an additional item and one that you don't need to buy, I'm going to have to get a little bit more creative with what I do as the background here. I have an old thrifted book that I kind of use pieces out of often, so I think I'm going to use that as my background. But additionally, I could have used this cycling map as well. I think it would be really, really cute to do a spread where I use this map as just the entire background, like so, if that makes sense. However, the reason I'm not using it for this one is just because I didn't really bike around my birthday and I'm wanting this spread to be like a birthday spread. So I'm going to use the book pages. You can use anything you want for the background. This is a book that I've had for so long. It was originally purchased for $1 at a thrift store. So it's very much not like a super special book to me in any way. And I actually literally just have it for this reason, to do crafts with. I know some people are going to comment and be like, well, technically that wasn't free, which is true. Technically it wasn't, but I do already own it, and I have owned it for many years. But use what you can. So use a cycling map like that. Use a brochure that you got for free at your doctor's office as a background. Anything you have can be used as a background, but I would really suggest having a background. I think a lot of people who feel like their junk journal spreads aren't looking very good or not looking like the ones they see on Pinterest or whatever, it's usually because they don't have a spread, or a background rather. I use a lot of glue because, one, this is why I buy cheap glue sticks, so that I can use a lot of it, but also because I find that I'm pretty rough on my journals and I bring them with me everywhere, so things will start pulling up if I don't really, really glue it down. I usually close the junk journal like this and just squish it together to make sure it's all stuck in there. Okay, so now I'm gonna try and begin my junk journal. So I have this little ribbon that my friend, she got me some flowers for my birthday and she had tied this on the bouquet. So I'm thinking of using this ribbon maybe as like a border. Birthdays are a good thing to junk journal with because you always have a lot of junk, I find, because you get a lot of cards and everything. Like I have this card from my mother-in-law I could use, but that kind of takes up a lot of it. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna use that, but it's an option. And the envelope is really, really cute. So I might even like cut out where she wrote Taylor on there. I got these incense sticks with my friend when we were walking around downtown on my birthday weekend. I'm just gonna cut it so that it's not as thick and cut the back end off of it. Okay, I love this. I'm definitely gonna like glue that down around here. My best friend got me this cute little card, so I'm definitely gonna have that. And then also I received this little gift from my friend giving a book or a matcha date. This is like her birthday gift to me, so I want to put that in here as well. My mom got me Wrangler overalls for my birthday, and this was the little tag off those, so I definitely want to add that in. There's just so many cute items. I don't know what all to add. I also received a book for my birthday from a local bookstore, and this is the bookmark that came with it, and I already have a bunch of bookmarks, so I wanted to add that into here somewhere. Maybe like that. That could be cute. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start gluing things down. I kind of forget how I had this laid out. I think this was in the bottom, so I'm gonna just glue that in here. I'm gonna put this lace. I may need to use Mod Podge over top of it to make sure it stays. This is when I bring out another form of adhesive. This is just some matte Mod Podge, and I'm going to put it over top just to make sure that the lace stays. You probably could just use hot glue for this. I don't know. I'm so excited with how this is looking. And I think at this point, this would be a very respectable junk journal spread. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with this at all. I think this is very cute and I love it. And I'd be very happy leaving it like this, but I think now is the point where I'm gonna show you some different options and how I kind of use my additional materials to make a spread look even better than what it does originally. That first extra material I mentioned, scrapbook paper would be an amazing option. Of course, I can't take off the paper I already used and put on a new scrapbook paper, but I think this spread would have looked a little bit better if I had a scrapbook paper, but I think using the book paper underneath is great as well. I don't think there's a right or wrong here at all. I think they both look great in different ways. The first thing I do want to make sure I'm adding though is a photo. I had a lovely little afternoon with my friends for my birthday. I had everyone come to a park in Ottawa and we all hung out and did a bunch of crafts together. It was really, really fun. And I took a photo of everyone sitting around doing crafts. So I'm going to print that on a Polaroid print on the Fujifilm Mini Evo, just because I do think it would add a lot to this, and I would love to like keep that memory from that day. I would encourage you to do this if you don't want to spend as much money on like a literal Polaroid printer, basically, to print at Staples or Walmart again. But if you really want that Polaroid look, I think this is a good option, but there's also cheaper printers out there. You can also just print, like put a photo on like a normal piece of like printer paper and then print it on a piece of paper and not photo paper. There's tons of options to put photos into your junk journal in a way that's not ridiculously expensive. That is what it looks like in the app, and then I'm just gonna select print and it'll print out of here. I'm so excited. It's printing. I'm probably gonna put that like around there on the spread. I tried to write on the little bottom part with a Sharpie pen, but I'm unsure how that worked out. So that adds a little bit of a photo to it, and now I wanna add some stickers to it as well. I kind of just start pasting them everywhere, if I'm being honest. I like those balloons, so I'm gonna put them in. Put a little cake there, little present. I'm gonna take some puffy heart stickers and kind of paste these like everywhere, basically. I've never been happier than I have been these past like couple years when I've been doing arts and crafts again. Like, I truly feel so happy because, and I think so much of that is because I'm like healing my inner child, but like for real, like literally, like not even being dramatic, like I think that's why I'm so happy. Also, I have like amazing friends and a great family and a great partner, but mostly because I'm doing arts and crafts. I also want to add some tape, I think. I like this like sparkly one right here, so I'm gonna use that. Also, I wrote 25th birthday party. I'm not 25, I'm 24. I can't believe I wrote that. Oh my god. Okay, well actually, did it end up being a good thing that that was gonna come off? Because it did. Oh my god, I cannot believe I wrote that. You know what? I'm gonna try to add one of the flowers on. I have the Mod Podge out. Why not try, you know? I'm gonna put it right there. See how it goes. I'm just gonna literally like coat it in Mod Podge. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All the petals are coming off. Okay, bad idea. Bad idea. That was a horrible idea. Horrible idea. They were not dry enough. The good thing about Mod Podge though is that it just dries clear. So I'm just gonna spread it out over the page and no one will be the wiser. Okay, is there anything else I want to add to this? I kind of like how it's looking. I love the picture. I love all the stickers. I might add a couple of these like nature stickers because my birthday party was like outdoors in the park. So I feel like maybe adding like a big tree could be really cute. Just gonna add that there. A little mushroom beside it. Something else I love to do when I'm finishing off a spread is I like to do a little note or like a little almost like a journal entry, but I'm not really sure where I'd put that on here. I just have this construction paper, so I think I'm just going to like cut out a tiny little square and make a little note to myself. I'm probably just gonna write down like what I did on my birthday so that I, you know, remember all the little details. And so I think it's more fun to look back on like photos and stuff when you have context for what's happening in them. Like I would love to be like, oh, that Wrangler thing is because my mom got me Wrangler overalls. So cute, you know? Perfect. Gonna do another piece. I'm gonna put this little ice cream cone sticker on the top. So cute. And then I'm gonna write down what I did. I have all my little birthday highlights in there. That's a really fun part of junk journaling. I think is often overlooked is that you can also just use it as a journal. Like it's so fun to add in little details like that. I really enjoy using my junk journal as like a journal or more of a diary for keeping like memories like that and writing them down. So yeah, that is my final junk journal spread. I hope that this video was so helpful. I do not take for granted the fact that you took time out of your day to spend it with me. So thank you so, so much. I do have a vlog channel if you're interested in going to check me out over there. It's at Diaries of Tay. And if you just enjoy like crafty hobby vibes and you really enjoy it over there, a lot of my videos are just me crafting and getting up to my hobbies. So if you would go check it out, I would love it so, so much. I would appreciate it so much. I can't even put it into words. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so, so much and have an amazing day. Bye! Mwah!